they have him on the run. They didn't move the pocket. They didn't have bootlegs and stuff.
RPO.
I mean, Myles Garrett, is a DM. He's not supposed to coach.
He's not supposed to know that stuff.
He has a better idea on how to utilize. Again, Justin Fields has legs, so move him. At least tire the defense out horizontally with just his ability to hopefully create it. And also it allows him to see. Also, the other nice thing about having him on the run, he only has to maybe read 2 reads instead of trying to read 5. He has probably one person going high, one person going low. He reads one of the two, and if none of those options are available, then he can run it out. That's the thing, is you simplify the game for him. And they had no idea on how to produce. And look, they knew how bad this line was. And again, I don't even go into how bad this is. They let go of Charles Leno, who was never a great tackle, but it was always solid. And also the more key important thing is he's durable. He didn't miss a lot of games. So they got rid of him because, again, they wanted to save money. They got rid of Kyle Fuller, again, because they couldn't get him on the cap. Again, this is on pace. This is on Nagy. And hopefully I'm okay with them not playing Fields the rest of the year because I want both these suckers gone. I don't want Justin Fields to be David Carr by this.
That's true.
Crew of clowns. It's embarrassing. There was more sacks by Cleveland Browns and completions by Justin Fields that game. That cannot stand.
So will Nagy make it through the season? That's the hot seat question. He shouldn't. Will he?
Either you make a decision on a quarterback, he's still fudging. He's saying could be Dalton, could be Foles, could be Fields.
It's crazy.
You make a commitment. You just do. Go ahead. At this point, I would put Foles in personally, and just because he can get the ball out quick. He probably knows the playbook a little better than Fields, I would imagine. But this is a lost season for them.
Well, that's a lost decade. You go back, and now we've got 2 top 10 picks you've chosen as quarterback in the last 4 or 5 seasons now. And you can't do any. You ruined one. He's gone, and now you're working to ruin number 2. It's just out of this world.
Well, again, one of the big problems goes with the McCaskies. That usually when someone fails with a quarterback, like Nagy and Pace did, you don't get another shot, nor should they have. So. Like I said, I'm fine with what Lugg says, even though I think Nick Foles should not be a starter in the NFL. I'm fine with him starting the rest of the year because I want Fields to have a competent architect constructing the roster. I want a competent person who could construct an offense. Neither of these people applied of that, so they need to move on.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. I think they will stick with Nagy.
I'll put it this way. The funny thing is they're like, well, Andy Dalton might be back. He's not going to be back. He has a bone bruise. And again, I know in terms of, I'm not going to act like I'm a doctor, but like a bone bruise is one of those injuries that makes it sound nicer than what it is. A bone bruise is like parts of the bone have essentially kind of broken or at least cracked. So it can heal. It's not broken, completely, but
it's not a fracture, but
it's been damaged. The bone has been damaged. So to be like, oh, he's going to be back week 4.
Put some dirt on it, kid.
It's like, no, he's not. And again, I like Andy Dalton. I don't think he's ever was the future for Chicago. I like him. I'd be fine with him starting again, definitely over Nick Foles. But for them not to have a plan,
no plan,
for Fields, I don't know.
Okay, so boys, we're going to Nagy. That's going to become a verb, Nagy. All right, but look out. Here come the Broncos, huh? 3-0, Teddy Bridgewater. Silently, quietly, they're going about their business. I'm just tossing that one out.
Well, now they've lost a couple of major pieces, too, to injury. I was just going to say about injuries this weekend, wow. The number of torn knees and everything. I don't know how they're going to get through 17 weeks. I just don't. Think about just the number of injuries we saw, plus the ones from the weeks before.
So do you think the short preseason and not in football shape, air quotes on that, is catching up now?
That's hard for me to say, but it seems like this year there've been far more major injuries. I mean, hell, what was his Josh Norman bruised lungs? He was hit, he hit that guy so hard that he bruised his own lungs when he knocked that fumble loose. I mean, these guys are just massive, fast, and, it's like a collision of dump trucks now. It's crazy. I guess my other highlight from the weekend would be Jacksonville's only highlight is that 109-yard run back from a 68-yard field goal attempt. I give it to him for giving that shot, but that was wild. That was kind of like that Alabama-Auburn game where the run back happened. So that was a good highlight.
So has Urban Meyer ever been 0-3 before in his life, Urban Meyer? Welcome to the NFL, Mr. Meyer. Sorry for your luck.
I don't think so.
Ah, okay.
I'll say one of my highlights is for the Bengals going into Heinz Field and, for the most part, decisively beating the Steelers.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a changing of the guard, I think at least to a degree. I'm not saying for a long period of time, but we all knew Roethlisberger was on his last leg. And Joe Burrow obviously coming back from a big injury, and I know his numbers aren't overwhelming, but man, his of his 14 completions didn't make them count. 3 of them going for touchdowns. 2 of them to Jamar Chase, where he's making some of us, I'll say me, kind of eat crow to a degree. And then taking Jamar Chase hasn't been so bad for him. I believe he scored 4 touchdowns in 3 games. So bravo to Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked him. I just worry about Burrow's health. But anyway, and also, again, Mixon's numbers aren't sexy. I mean, he had 18 rushes for 90 yards. But again, he moved the ball. They controlled the clock. They controlled the tempo. And to be fair to at least the Steelers, their defense is really banged up. Obviously, not having T.J. Watt is a huge missing piece. Also, missing Deontay Johnson, who's probably their best wide receiver, hurt them yesterday. But the Bengals defense, again, if you go back to the preseason and how they played this year, they've been very solid. Now, again, I don't know if they're not going to be a top 10 unit, but they play solid enough. And with how talented Burrow has, I don't think they make the playoffs, but I don't know. After yesterday, I kind of am leaving the door open a little bit. I mean, there's a 7th spot, so.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the Colts. Are the Colts done? At 0-3, they sit. Tough spot. Tough.
Hey, I'm not a big fan of Wentz, but I will give it to him. The man's out there playing injured, and he's doing pretty well. But that defense, he owes them $1.
Only one,
really
please.
Does because those guys. I mean, but they were out there forever, and they still hung in. I give it to there are pieces for that team, and the South, AFC South is so bad. So I still think they've got a shot. I do.
It's a long season.
Yeah.
Wentz is putting that dollar in number 7. See if he can make $7. Go ahead.
Obviously, they still have two Jaguars games on the season, 2 Texans games on the season.
True.
So that's hopefully 4 for them. They play the Titans again in Indy.
So now you're at 500.
Quentin Nelson unfortunately got injured in the game, but it sounds like he's day-to-day, so maybe he plays week 4, which is important for them.
That's my favorite thing of all time, by the way, day-to-day. Love that. Just love that.
I think and again, I kind of agree with Lugs, like, Carson Wentz showed some toughness, but I think they need to go back to the drawing board in terms of what their offensive philosophy is. They need to use – I mean, obviously, Nyheim Hines is great. Jonathan Taylor is great. Just really lean on those 2 and even maybe incorporate Marlon Mack. Just use all the running backs. Try to make a ground and pound team to a degree. and then do play action with Carson Wentz to like Pittman or Paris Campbell. Like, don't try to put it on Carson's plate. I think he's been mentally shattered over these last few years with Philly that I think you need to take more off his plate than try to put too much on. And if he starts to play hero ball, they need to bench him just to kind of enforce to him, like, we need you just to play sound. And then we can maybe build it back up from that. I think this is a solid team. To be fair, obviously it's not great. I mean, they're 0-3.
Right.
But I don't think they're that far away because, I mean, they lost to Seahawks, who are, I guess, are 1-2 now too. But obviously they have Russell Wilson, and it was on the road. And then they played the Rams. And like we said, the Rams are good. They were in this game to an extent. And kind of like what Lug said, the defense for the most part, I thought played well. But they just didn't get enough from their offense.
Yeah, I think you're right. That running back trio, I would run them every other play. Just pound it for a while and make them stop you. And that way you build up some confidence in that offensive line. And then you can do that, whatever fake play you want to do to run the back into the line and whatever you want to do.
Fake plays, those are good.
You've got options. They didn't commit one way or the other. Of course, I mean, Wentz being hurt the way he was, it sort of limited them. But I still think, like I say, they've got a good shot at making the playoffs. Still, they can do it. They just need to package the plays for Wentz that make sense for him in his present physical condition, I'd say.
But we're saying thanks for participating to these 0-3 teams, right? The Jags. And what about the two New York teams, both 0-3? I know you're shedding a tear over that, but it's kind of a rough spot to be in if you're a New Yorker.
Well, if you're a Giants fan, when the highlight of the weekend is retiring Eli's number,
that was it. And that's not even a highlight for many of them. They don't like him. They still don't like him. They're New Yorkers. Come on.
Not at all.
Yeah. What other highlights? Go ahead.
Well, I'll just kind of go on the two New York teams. I will say this real quick is I think both teams our fan bases should be in a different mindset. Like, Jets clearly are aware it's going to be a rough season, but as long as Wilson's okay, hopefully Mekhi Becton could come back, Louisville's own, or at least U of L's own. I forget if he's from here or not, but he they have a lot of good building blocks for the future. Obviously, they're not expected to compete at all, no matter. Giants, on the other hand, I mean, they lost to an Atlanta team that has been kind of rudderless in the first 2 weeks. And Matt Ryan is probably on his dying breath, at least as a competitor. It feels like it. Hopefully it's not for him. I don't wish that upon him. But it's for you to lose to Atlanta when you've invested and spent all this money, you have all these high draft picks and Giants. They are in a different scenario. They, like, the coaching staff, even though it's Judge's second year, the coaching staff, Gettleman, they're all on the hot seat. They all could get fired if this keeps going down this road.
Man.
So,
yeah, Joe Judge, or would you rather have the Panthers head coach where they're 3-0? Our boy.
Well, Matt Rule was smart enough.
Arnold's still looking pretty good.
Yeah, Matt Rule was smart enough to sniff out that Giants job. And like I said, I don't have anything against the Maras. After the father Marler left there, I think he sniffed out that the son is not the father. So he's like, nope, I'm going to go to Carolina, where they have an investment banker who is very aggressive. It seems fairly smart, Tepper, and how they're run. And he went to a good spot, got a great contract. And you look at where the Carolina Panthers are in year two, they're 3-0. I know, like, their competition, like the Broncos, is the greatest, but still 3-0 is 3-0. And particularly how Carolina has looked. Because look at the Saints. Saints destroyed Green Bay and, for the most part, handled New England this week.
Yeah.
The one game in between, Carolina owned them.
Yeah.
They straight up just destroyed them.
Yep.
So people that are still like, what's Carolina? Carolina's defense is, to me,